We have a timing screen.
I'll pop back and have a look. Obviously I'm out in this session, so good luck to you. Yeah, cheers, thank you. Thank you for the TV.
That's all right, no problem.
It's much better than.
Well, I don't know who decided to use that.
Whenever I asked TSL concert, the computer was busy with, oh,
They've got it.
and then something to do that for me, and I went,
Well, I don't know why they even thought it was to run me through my cabinet by now. But, whatever.
thank you, though.
They have to have the appropriate coloured wristband. If you don't have a wristband, they go. Well, yeah, with wristbands appropriate, yeah. So, what time are we on? We have 9 minutes and 20 seconds, everybody. 9 minutes 40. Oh, Sean's back. Hello.
Hello.
Are you my lamp charger for today?
Lamp charger as usual.
Can you please call in cruise control for your radio check, by the way?
So what time we got on the screen, please?
Time on screen 8:51 and 3 seconds. You did come out, but you were somewhat censored.
I've got something on an open channel. Banging away.
Nothing, I didn't hear him call. He's done me, but I didn't hear him calling you. Right, hold on.
Well, I took hearing, so that's you know what sort of time it's going on.
Alright, okay. So one first driver, second driver, first picture will not be issued. First picture you bring one you see. Okay, hold on. I drink the Bible. 3 minutes of program. I know, Mrs. What's going on? wristbands of the correct colour for your race will be allowed to pit, and each driver's been sent a wristband in the post, plus one extra per car. Mechanic can be doubled as timekeeper. Only one crew member will be allowed to work on the car during the pit stop, and a wheel tyre change is permitted to replace a damaged wheel tyre. So pretty much, as long as you have a wristband, they're good on the pit wall. No, anybody with a wristband. Only those wearing the change only those wearing the correct colour will be allowed to sit. And no bicycles or motorcycles. I told you it worked. Control Chief Flag radio check. Do we have a park permit? No, because I know that's okay. I didn't know whether we had a park permit. Oh, look how many steps I have. Top steered, out on the deck. By your bed. No. Perfect. Okay. Are we set for club? I can't believe there's such a young club here. Really done. Alright. No, I was enjoying you, Joyce. Right, so we are approaching 1 minute 30 seconds. Control from start line 1. Have we permission to go on time at 9 o'clock, which is approximately 1 minute 40 seconds? We shall go on time. Have to remember to do the pit window opening. We have to do with the whistles for the pit window opening, so 1 minute. Seconds. Oh, we don't have a plan. 15 seconds.
Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome along to Thruxton for finally the start of the 2020 motor racing season as far as the Classic Sports Car Club are concerned. The car's just heading out onto track now. If you're listening here at the circuit, then welcome along. You will either be one of the very limited team members or drivers that are racing in other categories, or you'll be one of our marshals, because the event here at Thruxton is, excuse me, I've got a problem with my headset, is closed to the public. So by way of just keeping people on the venue abreast of what's going on, then the Classic Sports Car Club, in conjunction with Thruxton Circuit, have agreed to have commentary at this event. But equally as much, there are many of you that will be listening via the TSL Timing website. For the first time, the racing from Thruxton is being streamed live via TSL Timing. So for many of the teams, supporters and families, it gives them the opportunity to pick up on what's going on. Just by way of roughly what's happening this morning, first of the qualifying sessions is heading out there now. That's a Toyo Tyres WatchdogApp.com Jaguar Saloon Championship with the Virum Builders Open Series heading out onto circuit for what is a 20-minute qualifying session for them. Then we'll see the first of two batches of Gold Arts Magnificent Sevens heading out onto track for their qualifying session. Third session of this morning will be the Cartec Motorsport Modern Classics with the Motorsport School Turbo Tin Tops, and also including the Cartec Motorsport Puma Cup. Then the new for 2020 Classic Sports Car Club Slick Series will head out with a raft of different cars that we'll see in that one. It's really the theme of the whole weekend. Enormous grids, huge variety, yet again is being dished up by the Classic Sports Car Club. And after we have seen the Slick Series out on circuit, then we go back to Gold Arts Magnificent Sevens, but it's our first race just taking place prior to the lunch break. After that, back to qualifying again for the Liqui Moly New Millennium Series, and we'll cycle through all of those with their racing this afternoon. Mark Well, that's chatting to you now. I'll be joined this afternoon, come racing, by Marcus Pye, who'll be heading out to Campbell Cobb and Seagrave and pick up on the action there. But equally, whilst there's COVID-19 in place and social distancing in place, please remember, if you are one of the team members or drivers and marshals as well, of course, that to remember social distancing as much as possible. Different restrictions, different procedures in place for this weekend. It's the same up here in the commentary box as well. There was different administrative things that we need to do that we didn't have to do previously. So please bear in mind social distancing at all time. Please follow the advice and the various notices that are around the venue as well. And now that we are finally back motor racing, if we all do that and work together, hopefully for the remainder of 2020 and beyond, we'll still be able to keep motor racing in whatever format it may evolve into moving forwards. We're going to introduce each session, but in terms of the commentary, we're only going to pick up on the times in the final 10 minutes of it. So we've given you sort of the introduction to it. The Viren Builders Open Series is designed for production saloons, hatchback sports and GTs, with some kit car models accepted as well by the committee. It allows some of those cars to run in non-original specifications, so i.e. different engines, different gearboxes, different aerodynamics and things as well, whereas the Toyota's WatchdogApp.com Jaguar Saloon and GT Championship is for competitors in Jaguar cars or derivatives thereof, so it includes the likes of Daimlers and things like that, largely XJ6s, XK8 models that we will see out there amongst them, and we'll tell you a little bit more about the drivers to watch out for before we sort of remain silent and pick up on the final 10 minutes of qualifying. In the Viren Builders, there's no programmes as such, but if you've downloaded an entry list off the Classic Sports Car Club website, you can do that via if you are listening online on TSL Timing, log on to classicsportscar.co.uk/Thruxton, and from there you'll be able to pick up on an entry list if you so wish. In terms of the quick drivers to watch out for, well, in the Viren Builders, then I would suggest that cars to watch out for are largely going to come from Class D, so the likes of the Holden Commodore of Stephen Byrne and Jerry Bailey with its 6.2 litres, you could argue would be a quick car around here at Thruxton. But of course, the heavy braking areas is where it's going to lose out to things like the Seat Euro Cup car and the Seat Leon TCR car of Jamie Sturgis, who is going to be very quick here. Nice to see Matty Evans is out, the man who sponsors the Liquid Moly New Millennium Series. Beautiful new BMW M1 Coupe that he has got, number 62. I expect him to be right up there as well in terms of overall qualifying pace. Add into that number 74 as well, the black BMW M3 E90. That's an ex-World Touring car, an ex-Andy Prio championship winning car in the hands of Dominic Malone, and also Matthew Fielding, in particular Colin Wells, who's got plenty of experience winning BMW championships at the wheel of the number 93 1 Series M BMW. They'll be ones I suggest to watch out for in terms of overall pace. In the Jaguars, well, most of the pace is going to come from the Class JD cars, which are the fully modified cars, so the likes of James Ram, I would imagine, will be the man to beat in the Jaguars in terms of qualifying, but that's not to say that we might not see good performance being put in by Tom Robinson, also in that class, Lawrence Kopock, who's got plenty of experience, who drives the white number 97 car, and even from Class C as well, Colin Philpott, number 67, and Tom Lentil could well be ones to watch out for as well. So that sort of gives you an idea of the cars we expect to be heading to the top of the times in the two respective championship stroke series that we have out in this first qualifying session. So that gives you an introduction and a flavour for the day. We'll pick up with how qualifying is going very shortly. So because it's a shorter session, there's already less than 10 minutes to go in his combined qualifying for the Toyo Tyres Watchdogapp.com Jaguar Saloon Championship, including the Viren Builders Open Series. They will have a split grid later on where the Jaguars go off first, I think, and 20 seconds later the Viren Builders Open Series will go off. And it is a couple of the cars that I suggested towards the sharp end of the times already. Number 74, which is the beautiful looking BMW, the ex-Andy Prio World Touring Car, Championship winning car, the number 74 car in the hands of Dominic Malone that tops the times. Last time through was the quickest lap of the session that we've had so far. He's just coming up towards the conclusion of another lap now. Last time through, pole time he set was 1 minute 23.960. That is a quarter of a second quicker than the number 62 car of Matty Evans has managed. That's another one of the cars I said to watch out for, his sort of grey liquid moly supported car. Dominic Malone goes through and is 39 thousandths of a second slower than his previous lap, so that still would have been good enough for pole position for the number 74 BMW, but just a shade slower than his previous lap had been. Matty Evans, number 62, is second quickest at this stage with a 1 minute 24.217. A quarter of a second adrift of the pole time, but only 14 thousandths off that is the third quickest car, and that is car number 128, which is a car that at the moment I can't see on the entry list for this one, but I will be able to pick it up because it is out in another race later on. It's out in New Millennium, I believe, so quick flick through the entry list will allow me to pick up on that particular car. So it's car number 128, and there it is, Brad Sheehan. He's at the very bottom of the entry list. Brad Sheehan with a 1 minute 24.231 is only 14 one-thousandths of a second shy of getting himself onto the front row of the grid at this stage. Fourth quickest is car number 581, which is the TVR Tuscan, just about to head over the start-finish line now, which Clive Leatherby shares with Matthew Ellis. Can it go quicker? No, it can't, but fifth quickest does improve that time through. It's one of the few cars that has improved. Last time through, Jamie Sturgis, car number 199, a local competitor, you could argue, at the wheel of his Leon TCR spec car, has just posted a time that sees him good enough for fifth with a 1 minute 26.264. 6.5 minutes to go. Dominic Malone, the provisional pole setter, I think briefly into the pit lane there, and is now heading back out again. So he will have another roll or two of the dice, should he so wish. The leading Jaguar at this stage is car number 67. Colin Philpott is, at the moment, on pole for the Jags by just a tenth of a second. As Jamie Sturgis goes to pole position, he improved to fifth last time through at the wheel of his Leon TCR car, but car number 199, Jamie Sturgis, over the start-finish line through Allard and up towards Campbell Cobb and Seagrave, has just posted a 1 minute 23.574 now, which now sees him take pole position by almost 0.4 of a second. So that sees him onto pole position. So that means Dominic Malone drops to second, Matty Evans drops to third, Brad Sheehan, car number 128, drops to fourth, and the TVR Tuscan now of Clive Leatherby and Matthew Ellis now sits there in fifth place. Sixth at the moment is number 93, another car I said to watch out for, which is Matthew Fielding and Colin Wells. They, at the wheel of their BMW 1 Series, number 93, have posted a 1 minute 26.379. But they would need a second and a quarter improvement, second and three quarters improvement if they want to gain just one place on the grid. So they need to find something from somewhere. As for the Jaguars, James Ram went over the start-finish line not long ago, the wheel of car number 99, the silver and white and green number 99 car, the man from just outside of Stansted Airport, really, on the doorstep of Stansted Airport in Essex, has not improved his time that time through, so it is still number 67, Colin Philpott, who is still the quickest of the Jags that we've got in the field currently now. There are only 5 minutes of this qualifying session to go, in what is a rather busy qualifying session, to say the least, as well. Huge varieties, I'm sure you'll agree out there. 43 cars have taken to the circuit so far. 43 have taken to the circuit. Only one of them hasn't posted actually a flying lap as yet, and that is Tom Robinson at the wheel of his Jaguar, has done an out lap and an in lap, but actually hasn't registered a time just as yet. So wait the arrival of quick cars over the start-finish line. Matthew Fielding and Colin Wells, BMW 1 Series, about to head back over the start-finish line, looking to try and prove on 6th position. No, still about 3 seconds away, but they were tangled up in a raft of traffic. The fastest Jaguar, Colin Wells, is just about to bounce off the curbs coming through the complex and see what he might be able to do at the wheel of car number 67. Can he improve the time for what is pole for the Jags currently? 1 minute 31.1 is still about 3/10 shy of his previous best, so there's not going to be an improvement there in terms of pole position for the Jaguars. Dominic Malone is on a quick lap here again. He's done his out lap, I believe, and he's now just coming up towards the end of a flying lap, but he's going to catch some traffic slap bang in the middle of the club chicane, which is going to hamper the lap that time through for the erstwhile pole sitting number 74 car. He needs to clear that traffic and press on, because he's got, another lap and a bit, really, so there's enough to do. No, probably the lap he started and 2 more thereafter, so he needs to clear that traffic, number 74, and then start to see a little bit of daylight to try and press on and try and improve the time. Now knocking on a position inside the top 10, Dylan Popovich at the wheel of the number 9 Ginetta has just improved, one of only 2 cars inside the top 20 to have improved last time through. 1 minute 30.569 sees him now move up into 11th position. Jeff Beals, Talbot Sunbeam Lotus, dropping down to 12th as a result. More cars diving for the pit lane, including Tom Lenthal at the wheel of the Jaguar that he owns and prepares himself. Over the start-finish line goes Matthew Evans, number 62, the BMW 1M, bottled up behind the 1 Series of Matthew Fielding and Colin Wells. The two of them just heading round through Allard now. Matty Evans in the grey car, 3rd quickest. The pairing of Matthew Fielding and Colin Wells in the number 93 car, 6th quickest at this stage. Dylan Popovich has improved again that time through, so the Ginetta is now inside the top 10. So the number 9 Ginetta now with a 1 minute 29.612. That has disposed down a place now, car number 666, which is the Volkswagen Golf Mark II that David Hickton shares with British touring car driver Jake Hill. So that is now down outside of the top 10. Through goes a rather slow-looking Colin Philpott over the start-finish line. Still on pole position for the Jaguars as such, car number 67 with the 13th quickest time. But remember, the times that we'll give you when we run through the session will not be the grid, because the grid is split. The Open Series have their own grid, the Jaguars have their own grid, and there's separation between them. One will go off when the lights go out, the other one will go off about 20 seconds later when the Union flag drops. So session is now a minute and 30 seconds away. Number 199 Jamie Sturgis still safely on pole. There's nothing extra that Dominic Malone has been able to throw at it as yet. We do have one car that has pulled off on the run up Woodham Hill and has pulled off to the right-hand side of the circuit, so there's just localised yellow flags there while the driver dives out of the car and walks away into the grass. Some sort of mechanical failure. It's one of the Jaguars. But it is such great distance, I can't entirely tell. I think it might possibly be car number 44, Guy Connew, that's had the issue, but the car sort of head on to me, and it makes it pretty impossible to pick out any coloration of it. So Guy Connew could possibly be the car, but I'm not 100%. As for improved times, Dylan Popovich just keeps improving. Remember, he was 11th and then moved up to 10th. Well, he's now up to 8th position at the wheel of the number 9 Ginetta. 1 minute 28.937. So whatever part of the very busy Thruxton circuit he is on, he is certainly finding some space somewhere around it, because he just keeps chipping away and improving the times all of the time. Provisional pole sitter over the start-finish line onto the last flying lap that Jamie Sturgis will do. 20 seconds to go as he goes over the start-finish line. That lap was, well, the best part of 8 seconds slower than his previous best. He had traffic to deal with, but he's now got a fairly clear circuit ahead of him for his final flying lap, so can really try and push on, which is what I think number 67 Colin Philpott, the leading Jaguar, is going to do as well. So he is now heading on to his final flying lap. So the two respective provisional pole sitters in the Virum Builders Open Series and the Toyo Tyres Watchdog.com Jaguar Saloon Championship, both on their final flying lap. Checkered flag is now out. Matty Evans over the start-finish line and cannot improve on his final flying lap. Matthew Fielding and Colin Wells, who are 6th quickest, also cannot improve on their final flying lap. So there aren't that many that are improving. Dylan Popovich has been the man who really has just continually improved, but I think he is bottled up behind a bit of traffic this time heading through the club chicane, so I don't think we'll see improvement for the black and orange Ginetta this time. Now he's really eased off as well at the wheel of the G50, so he will not improve. Dominic Malone now, watch out for Malone because he's just coming in towards the braking area for the club chicane. He's had a fairly clear lap at the wheel of the 74 BMW. He's just going to catch one of the Jaguars towards the tail end of the club chicane. What does a lap look like? His best lap is 1:23.960. Over the start finish line he comes now, and it is still in the 1:26 bracket, so about 3 seconds slower than he's previously gone. Jamie Sturgis did catch a bit of traffic, the pole sitter, on his final lap. Is he going to get down into the 1:23s again? No, it's a 1:24, just very slightly slower from Jamie Sturgis. So next of the quick cars to take the checkered flag is probably going to be the TVR Tuscan, just heading up towards the braking area for the club chicane now. Clive Leatherby and Matthew Ellis are currently 5th quickest at the wheel of the ex-Tuscan Challenge car. What might they be able to do? 1:24.628 is what they strive to beat. And as they go through over the start-finish line now, the lap time is slower again, so no improvement there. So, quick rundown of the order. It doesn't give you the grid because the grid is a split grid, as I say, but fastest of all was kind of 1:99. Jamie Sturgis with his Seat Leon TCR with a time of 1:23.574. Second quickest was number 74, Dominic Malone with the ex-Andy Prio BMW, 1:23.960. Third quickest, number 62, the beautiful 1 Series BMW of Matty Evans with a time of 1:24.217. And fourth quickest is car number 128, Brad Sheehan with his BMW E46 M3. 1:24.230. Fifth quickest is the TVR Tuscan that Clive Leatherby shares with Matthew Ellis. We don't know which drivers behind the wheel for qualifying. We should know come the racing. We'll get the start drivers for each one of the races. 1:24.628. And sixth quickest is number 93, another BMW 1 Series, Matthew Fielding and Colin Wells, 1:26.379. Dave Griffin with his E36 M3, number 34, was seventh quickest, the Coca-Cola liveried car, with a time of 1:27.728. And eighth quickest was number 9, the ever-improving Dylan Popovich with his Ginetta G50, 1:28.937. Ninth quickest is where we see car number 49, which is Mark Jones and Robert Taylor's all-white Seat Leon Super Copa, at the time of 1:29.018. And 10th quickest, that is number 43, which is James Tubby, scheduled to be sharing with Paul Lewis, but it only shows Tubby as the surname, so investigations to be made there over the course of the remainder of the morning. 1:29.251. 11th quickest is 666, which is David Hickton and Jake Hill's Volkswagen Golf, 1:30.086. 12th quickest is 144, and that will be David Trigg with his Ginetta G50. Time of 1:30.133. 13th quickest, this is the first of the Jaguars that we've got in the field, so he will take up pole on their respective grid. Number 67, Colin Philpott, with a 1:30.703, 1:37.03. 14th quickest is Jeff Beale, car number 163, with his Talbot Sunbeam Lotus, 1:30.754. 15th quickest is David and Tom Hutchins, father and son, with their Honda Civic, Type R, 1:30.889. 16th quickest is the second of the Jaguars, number 99, James Ram, 1:30.947, so he will line up on the front row of the grid for their respective race later on. 17th quickest is Doug Simon and Roland Jones, I think that is. A quick look at the entry list confirms, yep, absolutely. Number 63 is Doug Simon and Roland Jones with a time of 1:31.028. 18th quickest is 101, the Ford Escort Mark II of Malcolm Harding, 1:31.309. 19th quickest is number 4. Didn't do many laps, but the ones that Chris Robinson did were good enough to net him 19th quickest, but third quickest of the Jaguars with a 1:31.409. And just to give you the top 20, so it's not the grid, because the Viren builders will line up separately to the Jaguars and they'll go off at separate intervals. Derek Pearce, long time Jaguar racer with his Jaguar XK8, was 20th quickest, 1:58.13. 1:31.831, 1:31.831. So that gives you the top 20 in qualifying. We'll give you the full grid for it later on. We'll also pick out the starting drivers, but now we turn our attentions to the next of the qualifying sessions that's coming out very shortly. We'll do an introduction to it, then we'll shuffle some paperwork and do some admin, and then we'll be back for the final sort of 10 to 15 minutes of qualifying for the Gold Art Magnificent Sevens that are next up. So it didn't take long already. The green flag is waved and out onto the circuit come the competitors ready for the qualifying session for the Gold Arts Magnificent Sevens. There was just one car to clear up from that previous session. It was Guy Conyu's car that had expired on the run up Woodham Hill, so it wasn't the easiest thing to spot, but did, probably for the only time today, get that one right. So out onto circuit now go, as we say, the Gold Arts Magnificent Sevens, which is a series for cars based on Lotus 7 designs in reality. So it's not just for Caterhams. They are by far the most popular choice for this, but it is open to the likes of Lotus themselves and Westfield and MK and Tiger and Dax and Stuart Taylor and Low Cost and even Spires as well, of which we do have two of them out there. And if you're a regular down at this part of the country, then you'll have seen these cars racing quite regularly. David Watson and John Cutmore at the wheel of the two Spire RB7s out there as well. The class structure is based on brake horsepower in reality, so the most powerful cars sit in the higher classes. So the likes of Class G is where we are likely to see most of them really pushing on for. So Class G is for cars with more than 261 brake horsepower, so the likes of Caterham 620Rs and 620Ss and C400s and CSRs and things like that all are lumped into Class G, but that's not to say that some of the lesser powered cars might be pushing them. So drivers to watch out for, again, if you've managed to download the entry list, certainly in Class G, the drivers to watch out for. Number 51, Christian Pittard. His car is largely orange, but he's got some black flashes to it. I'd watch out for him. If number 80 is out there, Tim Davis, because he was going quite nicely yesterday and was heading out of Campbell, Cobb and Seagrave, had no issues with the car whatsoever, and all of a sudden, oil pressure light came on. There was an enormous bang, and his visor was absolutely filled full of oil, so he was really struggling to see. Pulled the car off immediately, but the engine had gone, so they were conscious that they might be able to head back to the workshop, pick up a new engine, get it in the car overnight, or if needs be, go back to the workshop and pick up a different car for him. So if he is out there, we'll wait and see. But the number 80 car, the black and Dayglow car of Tim Davis, could be one to watch out for. Also, number 81, Jonathan Pittard. His car is matte black, but has sort of some gold flashes to it, so he will be another one to watch out for. And even in Class F, there'll be some of the quicker cars in Class F. The likes of number 42, Richard Carter, may well be up there. Number 22, Graham Charman, could well be up there as well. So a range of different drivers to watch out for in what is a very full grid of Magnificent Sevens again. We thank Gold Arts for their continued support of this one. So far, 38 cars have taken to the circuit, so we'll let them crack on with qualifying and we'll come back to you and bring you up to speed as to exactly what's going on and who's striving for pole position for the final 10 or 15 minutes of this 30-minute session.
bumper was that? Oh, Sims couldn't even see nothing. Do you find it easier to watch them going that way? No, to see. No. Normally, by now, I'm quite used to a lot of the cars and colours and stuff. That's sort of an idea I have about it.
We won't like doing it in the qualified.
You get used to...
The cars a little bit better.
Yeah.
There's pits team, but there's no actual start line.
A little body called me. Don't even lap turn or nothing.
Because Donington is majority MSV, and MSVR have their own start line. MG5 everybody has their own. They don't activate. So I spent a lot of it on
Simon's SR, sixth quickest in this session, but has only done one single lap so far and is highly unlikely to add that tally as well. So he'll have to keep his fingers crossed that he can do the requisite minimum number of laps. A few more cars. John Cutmore's Spire over the start-finish line. He was in